What's up everybody, Alex here. So we got a lot of news on the Odin 2 now, and I think the most important thing is that the Indiegogo campaign is going live on August 22nd. I said it might happen on the 20th, but the date doesn't really line up for the weekend. So it basically is about 2 years since they first launched their Indiegogo campaign for the first Odin. So 2 years after the fact, and we have loads of information now. One of the key things here, they're showing their development journey, and the Indiegogo is going to start in August, and they're looking to ship the product around December 2023. So I would take that with a pinch of salt. For me, I got my Odin in the January of 2022. So I would probably expect there to be maybe a little bit of a delay, expect it after Christmas. The Odin was quite popular by the end and probably is still selling, so if they get a lot of orders from this Indiegogo, that could potentially mean that we get like a staggered release where the first backers will get theirs first and people will get theirs over time. Now it's going to have a 8 Gen 2 processor Snapdragon, and that is going to be very powerful. A lot of people, including myself, were very surprised to find out that this is the processor they are using, and for the price they are offering this device, yeah, very good value for money. And so it is an Android device, and what this basically means is there's a few models, and we'll get to the price and what those different models are, but the base model, which is going for 300 if you get the early bird price, and we don't know how many of those are going to be available, so it's best, in my opinion, to maybe set a date in your calendar for the date and time for the Indiegogo on the August 22nd. I'll leave links to those, and I would say just get in as quickly as you can if you want one. But this device is going to play, if you want to play PlayStation 2, you're going to be playing even the toughest games at high resolutions, and they're going to look really good on this device, and it has a 1080p screen, so there's really a lot to like about this device, and it's going to play some Switch pretty nicely, I think. Depending on the model you get, the higher the RAM, so for example, if you wanted to play a Zelda game, that Zelda game might require more RAM. I would say the best value for money of the Odin 2 is probably going to be the cheapest model. But yeah, it's going to have great battery life, really nice screen. It's very similar to the Odin 1, but you can see they've made improvements. One of the ones I really like actually are the sticks. They definitely look a little better. They look like they have more travel. For me personally, I'm not super keen on these, the way they've redesigned the face buttons. I think they look a bit too, I don't know, a bit too stylish. I like them to be a little bit simpler, but you know, hey, Sakura Retro Modding, you'll save the day, right? If they potentially use the exact same molds for the buttons, it could be the case that if you already have buttons for your Odin, you might be able to just switch them out with these ones from the get-go. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll get a teardown eventually. So Wi-Fi 7, it's going to be a really good wireless device, and one of the really good things about these Android devices is they do work out really well for streaming to different devices. So it's got the power, but it's also going to be able to be used really nicely, for example, for like PS Remote Play or streaming from your PC or something, so it's going to be really nice. For anybody who doesn't really know, so it's Android 13, so this means it's definitely going to be able to play the new version of Yuzu for Android, but when it comes to emulation, the highest we really have is around PS2. We don't have emulators for PlayStation 3, Wii U, Xbox 360, so they just don't exist. So the highest you can do, because only the software exists for it, is to do like PlayStation 2, Wii, GameCube. Fingerprint module is nice. I've been using my Geek One S for a while now, and whenever I log into the device, I love being able to just tap with my finger and it logs me in. Really nice feature to have that kind of stuff now on handhelds, and it just makes it feel a little safer. If you feel like you lose it, you know, you feel like you've got a bit more security. I kind of like the way they've changed the back of the mold here. It seems a bit more comfortable than the original Odin, which is really nice. I think I've used the original Odin recently, and compared to like some of the handhelds I've used, like the Geek One S, I do feel like there could be a little bit more grip there. Because it's using a Gen 2, it's going to get a little hotter, so when it came to the Odin specifically, well, it wasn't specifically to the Odin Pro, but they AYN like overclocked the chip it was using. So it's potentially the case that they might actually have, you could increase the highest fan speed or turn on like a pro mode to get more power from your device. If they can get even more juice out of this Gen 2, it's gonna be very powerful. They're also showing a new dock. We haven't seen too much about the dock. I'm not sure if it'll just be an addition that you can buy on the Indiegogo campaign. Looks pretty decent, has a couple of USB things on the side and stuff. I'm not going to get one personally. I'm actually waiting for a Neo dock. It's like a multi-dock, but they've actually kept telling me that they don't have the right parts or something, and they're just telling me to wait, which is frustrating. But anyway, we are talking about the Odin 2. High quality stereo speakers front facing, so it's just right there in your face. Honestly, a lot of things speak nicely to me. These colors are quite nice. I'm not too thrilled. I would personally just go for the black. I also would probably say that if you are going to go for a different model, let's say you're going to go for the transparent blue or transparent purple, I would worry that it may take longer to get those models for some reason. So I remember with the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus model, if you wanted like a certain color, they were releasing those later than other models. Actually, it was the clear purple that they released first, strangely enough. So I wonder if there's like some like odd lottery we don't know here, where actually they might be shipping a certain color before another one. But I would suggest, I would assume based on the price and the models, that the black is the first thing that will ship out. So if you want to back this campaign and be one of the first people to get an Odin 2, my money is that they'll ship the black ones first. And yeah, I'm not sure if I really talked about this much. The differences with the Odin, we have 4 little face buttons here now. They've confirmed that's select, start, return and home. So dedicated Android buttons are really good for this device. It's always frustrating when you get an Android handheld and there's no dedicated buttons. You don't want to constantly keep tapping your screen or just wish you had some kind of like hotkey. So really nice that they added those. And apart from that, it's very similar to the Odin. Even these M1, M2 buttons on the back seems to be around the same size as well as the original Odin. So it's just a serious upgrade. The sticks look better and the triggers look to be a little more functional than before, which is nice. I remember when I first got my Odin, the L and R were a little problematic and I eventually had to get a repair kit which they were shipping out, but later models of the Odin, they had actually fixed the design of this so that it wasn't as much a problem. USB ports, and for the dock, lots of cool things here. So it's going to be a Gen 2. These are the different models. So there's each model is there's 3 different models: 8GB, 12GB, and 16GB for RAM. But they also, like with each of those, so the 8GB gets 128GB of storage, the 12 256, and 16 with 512. So kind of strange that like if you want the cheapest model, you get the smallest amount of storage. But just let it be known that this does let you use SD cards, so storage isn't going to be a problem as long as you can put an SD card on there, and you're not playing like massive Windows games, massive Android games. So I wouldn't worry too much about space. But yeah, and having Android 13 is nice because the Pro was Android 10, I think, maybe, and the Lite, I think, was maybe 11. So this is going to be a much more functional system. Quite light too, 420 grams. As I said, I've been using the Geek One S recently, which is about 670. So like, I like my Geek One S as a Windows handheld. It lets me basically do everything I want, but it's big, it's weighty, and the battery is, you know, depending on what I play, can be a while or it could just go. With the Odin 2, you could play a lot of PlayStation 2 games at high resolutions for like 4 to 6 hours without even considering charging it, I think, which is a really nice thing. So let's have a look at these models. So only the base model comes in black. If you want the cheapest, so the early bird price is $300. You're saving $40 if you get in early to get the early bird price. So $300 black only. If you want different colors, you have to go for the higher price models. So $370 for the Pro 12, $450 for the Max 16. Oh, actually, you save a decent amount of price here. So with the Pro 12, you're saving about $80, and with the Max, you're saving about $50. Kind of strange though. Actually, you seem to make a decent saving here on the Pro 12. But yeah, different colors here. But with the Max, you get a benefit. You get a bag and a screen protector for free. Don't know how much those are going to cost. I would assume if you're going to buy a base model for $300, you most likely want to get a screen protector with it. I don't think those will cost too much. The case, it would be interesting to find out if actually the original Odin case or anything you've been using as a case for the Odin will fit this one, in which case you will probably not even have to bother with getting a new case. The only thing that would be worrying to me is the sticks, how much they stand off from the edge, and the grips on the back look to stick out a little bit more, so there might be a bit more height to it compared to the original Odin, so keep that in mind with your case. And that's pretty much it. So we know pretty much everything about this device now. It's going live on August 22nd, so for me as a Brit, that is going on at Tuesday 22nd at 12 PM, so dead on lunchtime. I've set my calendar for that time, so basically as soon as that's going live, I'm pretty much going to be hitting the base 8GB model straight away. I want to be one of the first people to try and get it. Value wise, yeah, the base 8 is the best value, but if you're looking at this device and thinking actually this could play a lot of Switch, so I'm a bit 50-50 on this kind of thing, because the Switch, we all want a better Switch. Everybody wants a better Switch, but it's still on the market and still selling. So if you're looking for something that can do Switch, you could just buy a Switch and that's what it will do. It's already portable in the first place. But the 16GB model for the Max it sounds like overkill. I'm not really sure what you'd need that for. If maybe you want loads of apps open, maybe you've got an Android game that for some reason is very intensive. So yeah, I'm not too sure why you'd want the 16. It's a bit more of a flex over the other two models, but if you literally just want what I would consider the perfect device for everything up to PlayStation 2, this base 8GB model is really good. For the price and the power you're getting, that is super good. So yeah, that's pretty much everything we know. I am going to be backing it on Tuesday. I'm not sure if there'll be any more information, but I feel like I wanted to wait because they were drip feeding information constantly. So this is what we have. Good luck getting an early bird price one on Tuesday. If you want to keep up to date with things, AYN has a Discord that you can find on their website, and they've been drip feeding information on their Odin 2 channels there. So if you want to try and be as up to date as possible, go to that Discord. And that's everything we have, so we'll see you playing the Odin 2 sometime in the future. I would suggest it would be the early 2024. So thank you very much. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe for more content, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.